world where things almost make sense and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Loutopia podcast. Tonight's show is about the people that are tensed up and marching around and yelling. What about yelling? We're going to talk about yelling tonight, but we're not going to yell. Welcome to the show, folks. Lou Angel Wolf here. Right next to me, my buddy Michael Merberg.
And Chris Gorgeous.
And that was the other buddy. That's Chris Gorgeous. He's over there.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. You got to get on the mic there, fellas. All right. Well, welcome to the show, folks, and thank you for joining us. We are live on YouTube. If you like the show, please give it a like. And we would also ask that you would subscribe. We've picked up a couple of subscriptions lately, and that makes me happy. We've got a bunch of Loutopias available for you. You can go back into the archives. And one of my favorite personal archivists is my buddy Mike Peter over at the IRN Broadcast Network. That's IRN Internet Radio. That's IRNBroadcast.com. Lovely folks over there. The show's also going to be on Podomatic. And, of course, the mothership, Loutopia.com. That's Loutopia, Loutopia.com. Well, welcome to the show, folks. And, you know, I'm noticing as I can't remember the last time I yelled, except for like, hey, there's a car coming. You know, I think that's the last time I really... When was the last time you yelled at somebody, Michael?
Long time.
Yeah. Chris?
About, what time is it?
Get off of my lawn or I'll shoot you.
It's about, I don't know. I don't know if yelling, I don't know if I'm loud as it is, so it may be mistaken as yelling, but I have been brunt. I have been curt.
Curt.
Yes. With some,
terse.
Yeah. Terse, yeah.
I love terse. Well, you know, you also have, a 9-year-old in the house. So apparently that's going to reveal some yelling.
No, it wasn't to an adult, the last one. I work in a very unique situation. There's a person there that is being abusive to the owner of the house. It's an adopted daughter who will not leave, and she is belligerent and very angry, and I have exhausted every other avenue, and so lately I've resorted to saying, listen, you know, and again, in almost in a yelling, curt way, you're becoming a nuisance and a hazard to your father's health, the patient, because of her living style. Let me just put it that way. She's an unclean person, dude.
Unclean?
Like a hoarder unclean.
Unkosher?
A hoarder unclean.
Mentally ill. So you yelled at the mentally ill.
I try not to yell at the mentally ill.
Get away from me and my pizza boxes.
But also I feel like some people who have a mentally ill, like a diagnosis of mental illness, also, in my opinion and what I've experienced, take advantage of that to some extent. Like, this person is an adult. She knows what she's doing. She has flat out said, I'm not leaving, and you can't make me. Well, I don't know if that's mental.
Well, because
That's why they have Baker Acts.
Well, yeah, and I feel bad for her mother because I'm taking care of the father. So it's a tense situation, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
And I would normally do that, and I've tried to be nice, and I've tried to, hey, I talked to her about the 4 agreements, and hey, let's, all these things. And, yeah, it's a year and a half later, and she will not leave.
All change comes from within.
Yeah.
And she's probably not ready to change because she's found a meal ticket.
Well, that's it.
Okay.
I hate to, and I don't want to be,
Dude,
I'm
3 hots in a cot. A lot of people, that's it. That's as far as they want to accelerate.
It's so true.
You know? Well, I'll tell you, life ain't as much damn fun as a lot of people think it is. I mean, I have a great life. I
was out of work for like 6 months, and I almost lost my mind.
Yeah, you were.
Can't do it.
You're an irritable child.
No, I can't. I can't just sit. I can't. Ugh, no.
I know.
Life's too precious, man.
Well, but you see, what happened is to this girl, somewhere along the line, she started believing a lot of lies. She believes a lot of lies about herself. She believes a lot of lies about this world, our government, and, personal relationships, not to mention that. Yeah. And if you've had a series of, failed personal relationships, that stuff puts big dents in your head.
There is a lot of yelling going on right now, though, just in general. People are
yelling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, too. You know what spurred this whole yelling topic?
Somebody scream at you?
No, I'm not a yeller.
Did somebody come off at you?
I can't remember the last time I really yelled at somebody.
I'm older than you. That would make me an old yeller.
An old yeller. Stop my sides.
Yeah, be careful enough to put you down after that.
You got just the gun to do it.
Stop telling everybody.
I'm sorry. It's like, I'm impressed. What can I tell you?
We're at Chris's reload.
No, it's funny. What's funny is my son has kids over, just on this side subject, and his grandfather picked him up. He's a Vietnam vet. He's a nice guy, Southern guy, very conservative. And just I believe he goes, Connor told me he had bump stocks over. I'm like, no, I don't have any bump stocks. Why would he say that? And it's true, I don't. But I was like, why would he say that? He's like, well, I got some. I'm like, okay, okay, whatever you say, buddy.
What's a bump stock?
It's what the guy in Vegas used to kill all those people. That's now illegal. The company's going out of business.
What is it?
It makes your rifle shoot automatic, sort of, kind of.
Oh, they won't ever be able to duplicate one of those. But just because the bump stock brand is in the shitter doesn't mean...
I had to get my bone stock back, but I got this stick.
Right.
It's like tie a rubber band around the trigger. It's like, piece of cake.
One of them big, thick lobster ones. Well, anyway.
A male rubber band.
I have a broccoli trigger guard.
Well
played. See, that's much better than the other one.
Well, what spurred all this on is Pamela and I. She says, let's watch because I watch a lot of conspiracy theory documentaries, and, sometimes the topics at my house are a little heavy on the blinking light. And but I tell you what, it's really good. I'm building together the puzzle pieces are really fitting together, and I'm very thankful to a lot of people that helped explain a lot of things to me, and Michael, you being one of them, of course. But we said, hey, let's watch something light and dumb, okay? So we picked. There's a movie out now from Netflix. Adam Sandler and Chris Rock, and it's called The Week Of.
Oh, God.
And it's about a wedding.
Oh, God.
Okay. Adam Sandler's Long Island Jewish family is marrying into Chris Rock's, rest of his black family.
I hate it already.
Oh, my God, dude. And here was the thing that got it. There was Adam Sandler and his wife, who was the little funny girl from Saturday Night Live. I can't remember her name. But part of the scenes where they would be upstairs yelling at each other so loud that it just permeated the whole house. And people went about their business, even though, this giant tongue, it was just normal thing for them with just this yelling, all the yelling, and then a little more yelling. And, like 15 minutes into the movie, I look at Pam and I go, I think this is getting painful.
Yeah.
Dude, because think about it. Those are two yelling comedians.
Yeah.
Their style is to yell. Adam Sandler's like, oh, I'm so angry. And then Chris Rock is like, a forceful kind of, what the heck? It's a loud, piercing. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Well.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Dude, I made it to 22 minutes. And by this point, plot point 1 is established. Adam Sandler, the cheapskate Long Island contractor, is
just so happens to be that he's Jewish.
Yes,
so
of course.
He's like playing the worst of his people.
Oh yeah, he winds up. He's having the wedding at a Quality Inn that his remodeling company updated. Okay, and he's
What's the name of this movie?
The Week of. And Chris Rock is a multi-million-dollar
Recording
heart
artist?
surgeon.
Oh, what?
Heart surgeon. Yeah.
Okay,
And
Okay.
so
I guess
I give up. Oh my God! There's like, I thought there was one beam of light in the beginning of the movie. There was a short scene with Steve Buscemi, and Steve Buscemi plays like the disinterested cousin that's not coming to the wedding or whatever. And I go, oh my God, there's Steve Buscemi. Maybe this won't suck, because literally I would watch Steve Buscemi polish his shoes. Okay.
I'll tell you after you're done with the best Steve Buscemi movie ever.
Okay. And so anyway, we get to plot point 1, and everyone is yelling. Okay. Here's his Long Island house, which is looks like a 2,500 square foot house, with all the black family in there from Chris Rock's side of the family, because various circumstances. All of his Jewish family is there, including his uncle with no legs. So he's carrying around his uncle with no legs.
Carrying him around.
Well, yeah, because it's too crowded to run the wheelchair or whatever.
My God!
And dude, I'm telling you,
Who wrote this thing?
Adam Sandler and some other hack.
So you did make it to the end.
No,
Oh,
no, I read that in the beginning, so I talked myself into watching it. And Pam and I, like at the 23-minute mark, I went, I'm done. I've had enough. I concede. I'm tapping out.
yeah.
And then I have a video of a brake on a brake lathe where it's a disc brake, and it's just being resurfaced, and you hear it just going. So I watched that instead, and I was
Go
happier.
back in time and watch my boy. I pulled up his picture for you, Morton Downey Jr. Remember?
Morton Downey Jr., man.
He invented yelling.
He invented yelling, and he invented reality TV, and we have him to blame, to be honest with you.
And the Buick smile.
He had a Buick smile, that's for sure.
Now
Is
look
that
at
Brian Regan with the American flag there? Who is that?
No, that's Morton Downey holding the flag up.
Oh, okay.
And then some dude in the back. I wish I could see what his shirt looks like. A bananas on his shirt. I don't know what that shirt
Yeah,
is.
he's got some kind of banana.
Dude, I grew up watching Morton Downey. I remember when he first came on, and I was like, oh, my God, you're allowed to talk like this in public?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the anger and the confrontation. I think some of it's permeated into my stand-up.
And his online smoking?
Yeah.
Or on-camera smoking?
Yeah.
He smoked. He had harsh language.
Well, and he was brunt. He was curt.
He was terse.
Kurt Brunters.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
But he was kind of the first dick.
Yeah, he was Trump when Trump was cool.
When was
No, I mean the persona of Trump, not
okay.
Trump, but that persona, that braggadocious. I got a cigarette. Get out of my face, young punk. You kid punk.
He who dies with the most toys wins. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it wasn't even for him. It wasn't even about money, because you could tell he was low rent.
Yeah.
It was about the attitude. You young punks don't know nothing. That guy.
Well, he's still right. But,
What would you say to somebody like me, though, who I use yelling in my show very effectively? I rant and...
Well, you're doing a show.
Okay.
That's
fair.
You're not conducting your life.
Right.
And like the other day, every once in a while, you have to go to Walmart. And I avoid it. I literally have visions of dragons in a pen in the middle of the store that can lash out and grab me.
Sadly, it's the cultural capital of many of downtown America these days.
See, I have a different attitude about Walmart.
You know what? The Walmart in Newport Richie, and for those of you listening in, folks, on YouTube or whatever source you're getting to us, the show is broadcast out of the west coast of Florida here, and we're in Clearwater, which is an absolutely beautiful place. But up the road is our small town nearby that everybody makes fun of, and it's called Newport Richie.
Which, by the way, made the top 10 places in Florida not to live.
It did. I saw that. It's like number 8, like number 8, where you don't want to live in Florida. and it got just flat grade. It got like a D minus.
Yeah, my air conditioning guy used to say, even the ditch diggers in Newport Richie do a shittier job than they do anywhere else. He's right.
I lived up there for a while, and I just couldn't take it. My sister had the coolest house there. She had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool on a lake for $750 a month, and it was great. But it was in Newport Richie, so and and every once in a while, I even like you would go, okay, I need some cultural stimulation or something, and you would say, I'll go to Barnes and Noble. They don't have a Barnes and Noble, but they got a Books A Million, and I'm thinking, 1 million books in Newport Richie. You could probably get away with books a couple hundred there.
Books were us. Buy a video here.
And
books a crate.
Yeah, and so even if you went to the bookstore, there was nothing. It was 4,000 copies of
There was a store. What books are?
4,000 copies of the Richard Petty story. Not all props to Richard Petty. He's a cool guy, but anyway.
Well, what people don't know is that the Outlaws Motorcycle Gang still has their clubhouse up in Newport Richie.
Oh yeah.
And every time you see something coming out of Florida that involves skinheads, it's usually coming out of Newport Richie as well.
Yeah, that's true, man. There really is that. So anyway, what was? Yelling.
Stop yelling.
I'm in the Newport Richie
Walmart.
Walmarts.
No, Walmarts.
Yeah,
Walmarts.
Yep.
And there's a woman there yelling at her 2 kids, and they're both like trapped in the cart. They're sitting there in the cart amongst the crap that they're buying, and this lady, I mean, she must have missed her meds or something, because she had a slice in her voice that I've never heard a mother talk to a child in that tone. It was literally a acidic. It was true malice.
Yeah,
and
they're a burden to her. That's what that is.
Well, yeah, or maybe they're not hers.
Yeah,
which would create the malice.
Right. Well, also a burden. They're not hers.
They ruined her stripper career.
She was
a plumber.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, it chased me out of the store. Her energy chased me out of the store. I only got like one of the things I went there for, because she was like in the next aisle over where all the shopping I had to do. And she's yelling at the kids and calling them names and telling them they're little assholes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awful.
And that's the other thing too with me. Name calling.
Yeah.
Man.
Snake talk.
So painful. Yeah, it is reptilian, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the name calling. And I'm happy that I'm in this brain, because I made all these mistakes. I used to cut people down, and it was one of those things where when you came to realize, or you finally read the quote that says, smart people talk about things, dumb people talk about other people. And it really did. It really threw the anchor out on my gossip. Anytime I say something that's revealing about somebody, I always preface it with, man, I hate spreading a rumor or, telling something unjust about somebody, but I feel as though it's germane to the situation, so I share it. But it always, it's preceded and secluded by an apology. It's like, I hate saying this, but I got to say it, apparently. So, I suppose in a more accelerated level of my soul, I won't say anything at all and just keep moving.
I don't know. Some people need to be woken up a little bit, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. And
I'm just saying.
And the parents yelling at kids, I came from a yelling family. My dad yelled, my mom yelled.
Mine too, dude. My dad was vicious yelling.
Yeah. Oh,
All the time.
dude, my old man had such a sharp tongue. He literally would make you question your birth. He was so rough on. I mean, it was his. And here's the other thing too. When he was a young guy, and the guy had virtually no education. He dropped out of school in 9th grade, came from less than zero, and my dad was 6'6", 200 pounds, and I mean a badass. He was a badass. There was just no two ways about it. And one of the things as he grew up, virtually with no father, his father deserted him when he was 9 years old, and he was 6'2" when he was 12. And then by the time he was 16, he was 6'6", and just a big guy. And he turned out to be, like really handsome and stuff. But really, a guy that spent a lot of time on the street. A lot of time hanging out at the gas station. A lot of time talking to jerk offs and creating this jerk off mentality. And
The stoop fella.
yeah, and boy, I tell you what, man, when he got mad at you, he whipped that shit out, man, and just beat you up with it. And of course, and then he had a big giant thundering voice. And then he had hands like a Sasquatch. And so, this whole thing of, you're being attacked by this kind of monster guy, and because he didn't have any education or he would go right. He'd hit you right in the soft spot, and man, oh man, just put you to your knee. And he said things to me when I was 13, 14 years old that still scar me, and I'm almost 60.
Yeah,
So.
I try not to say things like that to Jake. Name
Don't.
calling. I try not to. And I mostly haven't, but I mean, I came from that same environment. I could hear my dad yelling like a couple houses away. When I was walking home, I could hear his voice coming out of the house. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a bad night.
Yeah.
When he was on a tear.
Yeah.
Mike seems like he would be loud. You seem like you would be really loud, like Great Santini loud. You know what I mean?
Not as loud as my father.
Was your dad loud too?
My dad was loud, but he wasn't mean. He was kind.
Was he?
Oh yeah. He meted out punishment when he had to, but he didn't want to. And once again, he was a well-educated man, and he came from a good, a stable, household. His father was a U.S. deputy marshal, and his mother was a head of our post office.
Wow.
So it was stable, and you guys are coming from a very unstable environment where your parents didn't really know any better.
Right.
And they're probably victims to their own abuse, and their saving grace was probably that they weren't as abusive as their parents.
Yes, I'll definitely say that it was. It improved. I know my grandpa, my Ludwig, he was tough on my dad, and my mother's father, Pop, he was tough on her. Yeah, and
I know I've been better than my dad. I made a conscious effort.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, we start to become the fathers that we wish we had.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, I like that, and that's like my son. Like Isaac and I really get along great. And by the way, if he's listening, thank you for waxing the Magnum wagon today. He waxed the car, and we're going to put it up for sale. But I definitely did way the fuck better than what I was dealt to my son. I don't think I've ever said anything, personally. There was never a personal attack on him. I always neutralized it and said, hey, look, you were in this situation. This is the decision that you made. Let's think about other decisions you could have made.
Yeah.
Which is the nice way to explain things to people. They don't want to, you're a freaking jerk off. Why
Way to go. You brought it up.
I know. But
Was that an exorcism? What just happened?
yeah, something came up.
He feels better now.
I do. But like, I was looking up some stuff about yelling, and apparently it's a really big deal, and maybe more in And I think what you're saying there, Michael, is true. In less educated households, I'm sure it's way more rampant. If you've been to college and if you've had to sit and listen and study and this, you appreciate quiet and you understand how communication is done. Volume doesn't necessarily add content. But Dr. Laura, who's a smart lady, she recognized this and had a whole section about how not to yell at your kids. And I'll run through a couple of these and chime in if you like. Realize that your number one job as a parent is providing physical and emotional safety that includes managing your own emotions. Okay? 2, commit to your family that you'll use a respectful voice. I've learned things from people yelling at me, but I learned a lot better when they said it to me nicely and presented it to me, with a respectful tone.
Well, as far as communication goes, there's more of an open conduit if you try it the nice way.
Right.
Immediately when you use anger and that, it shuts people down, dude.
Well, what happens is in responding to anger, you create fear, and fear is associated with what you're trying to learn. So it's going to make it a lot more difficult to learn if, that if you have that fear response associated with the learning experience.
Yeah, these are good. Remember that kids will be kids, okay? Kids running around screaming, yelling, pretty much kid stuff. This is a good one. Stop gathering kindling, which ammunition for your next argument or your next thing to yell about. Don't, if somebody incites you, you don't have to tell them that you didn't clean your room on Thursday, you didn't clean your room on Friday. You don't have to, you don't have to go there with that.
Was this confession?
Yeah.
It's okay.
5, offer empathy when your child expresses emotion, any emotion. If the kid, if his feelings are bent or her feelings are bent in any particular way, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to open up at that point and help them absorb that. 6, stay connected and see things from your child's perspective, even while you're setting limits yourself, which is smart. Always walk a mile in the other guy's shoes. 7, when you get angry, stop. If you go, okay, I'm pissed now, walk away. You're the adult. Okay.
Yeah, never say anything in anger.
Always
Give yourself time to cool off, because the things you say in anger are the worst things you're ever going to say.
Yeah, and there's a handful of things I've said in anger. Wished I could have reeled them all back in.
A couple of the ones that I said were really good, though. I mean, damn.
Yeah, I'm not saying they weren't artful.
Shucks.
I'm not saying they weren't script worthy. But number 8, take a parent time out. 9, find your own wisdom. And 10, let go of trying to teach a lesson at this moment. Instead, take positive action from this calmer place.
Yeah, let the kids sit and wallow in his shit for a while.
Absolutely,
start figuring it out himself.
Absolutely, sure, man. And a lot of times, you know what? They'll come up with it on their own. I saw that several times with Isaac. If something was going sideways, I just kind of let it create its own sauce and be what it was.
It's like the Tao teaches: when in doubt, do nothing.
And hey, there you go.
Woo-wee.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our break. You're listening to the Loutopia podcast. Coming up, second half, our beautiful friend Beth Snyder from Beth Snyder Hypnosis. Give input on the yelling. I think she grew up in a yelling house. Let's just hope maybe yelling houses are going out of style. Let's just hope that. You're listening to the Loutopia podcast with Lou, Michael, Chris, and coming up, Beth Snyder.
where things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Oh, baby. Here we are, round two, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Loutopia podcast. This is the second half, and in just a couple of minutes, we'll be inviting our beautiful friend Beth Snyder in. Tonight's topic is stop yelling. Just shut up. You know, learn to speak in a quiet tone. Learn to communicate on volume. Does not add value to your words.
Yeah, you don't win an argument by who's the loudest.
A lot of people think that, though.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Dalai Lama. Can you picture him running around yelling, "Hey, yo, sit down and do your meditation"? Getting tired of this.
No, you still can't eat a cow. No.
You want to levitate or not?
You want to levitate. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Why is the Dalai Lama speaking with a Jewish?
I don't know.
I know. What part of India is he from?
It's Dalai Lama.
Middle India.
Staten, India. But anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, like I promised you the first half of the show, it's time for our special co-host. She's the owner, operator, whatever, yeah, that of the Om, whatever that is, the Om shop over there in Sarasota. Beautiful metaphysical store. Lots of great stuff in there to help you find your inner peace. And welcome to the show. It's Beth Snyder. Hi, honey.
Well, hey, guys. It's Jewish Dalai Lamas, huh? Sounds like a good evening.
Yeah. You're mahjong experts.
Well, Beth, you know the topic of tonight's show is stop yelling, or why yell, or whatever. And what we've discovered here is we've all kind of come from a yelling household. Our childhood was full of yelling. Was that part of your life too?
Yeah, there was yelling. There was more kind of histrionics and violence, and then pretending as if nothing happened. So,
oh, okay,
it would be, a good beating, and then, what do you want for breakfast, kind of thing. I don't know, ice for my eye. How about that? Oh, we can't talk about that.
I'll have steak with my eye, please. Cold one.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what was
there were definitely some screaming. Yeah.
What was the thing with the steak on your eye? Was it just the coldness, or the meat help?
Yeah, it was the coldness, and it would kind of dissipate the black and blue.
You soaking the meat into the meat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Well, I had a dumb revelation the other day. Stuff I've already known, but became more aware of again.
Yeah.
I've been so busy, and this is wrong, it's just laziness or whatever. And I haven't been eating well. I haven't been eating enough vegetables. I haven't been eating enough salads. And I've been eating a lot of processed meat, a lot of sandwiches, a lot of stuff to go, a lot of prepackaged stuff,
Yeah, horrible for you.
And what I remember, and I gained some weight. And I gained, 28 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, who's counting?
Yeah, I was, apparently. But what I figured out in a big moment of duh is all these animals that I'm eating are being fed growth hormones. And the growth hormone, I ingest this into me, so I'm meat. So now the meat hormones that I put into my meat grew me. Mm-hmm. The growth hormones were in their second season of growth.
Oh.
Yeah. They grew the initial animal, Then they grew me.
And then you got the GMO in the food chain as well.
So I'm really, really cutting back on meats. And, I'll be honest with you. I came back from Austin, Texas. I'd been living out there for about a year and a half. And I was vegetarian when I was there. And
vegetarian in Texas.
I know.
That's like a hanging offense.
In Austin, no less, like Barbecue Central. I'll pass.
But that's
No,
that's not true.
What's not true?
Well, there's skadoodles of barbecue. Don't get me wrong, but Austin is also the easiest city in the United States to be a vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
Even more than San Francisco. Even more than Portland.
Well, Sandra Bullock was right then.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I weighed, 40 pounds less, and I really had the vegetarian thing down. I mean, I was used to it. I felt light. I had no indigestion. I had no
Spilgus.
GERD. Yeah, and I was wearing like 2 sizes pants smaller than now, and did we lose Beth there? She's back. Okay. But the whole vegetarian thing, you got to look back at your life and figure out what worked for you. And I look back on that season, and that really worked for me. I mean, and the other thing, Michael, is I think we shared this one day on the program that if you want to see the I believe it's the Buddhist healers, if you want to see them, and if you are still eating meat, they won't see you. Mm-hmm. They won't counsel you. They won't try to heal you. So you have to be off meat.
Yeah, meat's no good, and processed flour is no good for you. Corn is no good for you. The grains that we eat today aren't the grains that our parents used to have.
Right.
So we're all infected here with bad food in this country, and there's virtually almost no way to escape it except to grow your own.
You think that's making everybody yell at each other?
It could create irritable bowel syndrome and a bunch of digestive issues. Aren't going to help them and make them want to yell more because they hurt.
I'm tired. Beth, you eat a vegetarian diet, right?
Yeah, I'm vegetarian. I have been for, probably almost 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little longer.
Okay.
And I was as a child, too. Kind of as soon as I started putting 2 and 2 together, I was like, oh, I don't want to eat that animal. So for me, it was, at first it was an emotional reaction early that, I understood, once I understood what was happening.
Right.
And then, as I grew older too, for health reasons, but then also, really from an environmental standpoint, it's the one thing I can do is really be careful where I spend my dollars and, not spending my dollars on meat, which is, from the aspect of the suffering that the animals go through and the factory farming here and the way that they're treated, it's horrendous. If you watch any of that, I mean, and you're still eating meat, I don't get it. But also because of the CO2 emissions and the deforestation. And, that dollar hamburger on the corner at McDonald's is costing our planet a whole lot more. The tremendous amount of water that is used in processing cattle, the forests that are just being destructed, especially in South America, to ship that beef then here to the United States. It's just awful. So that's, for me, it's an environmental stand, as well as, just a moral stand that I just don't think that other species should be consumed as food. And I know, people need meat and they need protein and all of that. But I think if you're going to do that, you have a responsibility to know where that meat came from and how that animal lived. So, maybe have a nice life in one bad day, but to be tortured from your moment of existence. It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see what happens to them. So I don't want to be any part of that.
Yeah. I remember when I lived in Austin, there was I was eating, a vegetarian based, even vegan on some weeks. because it's so easy there in Austin. Because it's any meal you can get, vegan, vegetarian, lots of places. Of course, there's like 4 college campuses there, which makes it popular as well. But really, I felt great. I had tons of energy, and the one thing that is it's much harder here in Florida because it almost. I mean, there's only a couple of places that cater to you. There's no fast food that's available on a vegetarian level. The one little bastion of fast food that you can have is a Burger King veggie burger. Okay. So if you're in a big old hurry and you got to do what you got to do, and you're eating vegetarian, you can get a Burger King veggie burger. But my beef is, pardon the pun, Burger King is the worst fast food restaurant on the planet. It really is. They are so inept. And I ate there the other day. I got a veggie burger, okay? And I walked in, I ordered it, and I'm thinking as I'm eating it, I'm the only guy in the restaurant dining in. How the hell is my burger cold already? I mean, I just how and it's not just the one in Clearwater at Sunset Point Road, which stinks.
Awful.
They're all over. I mean, almost every one you go to is bad, and it's literally
Well, remember too, grocery stores, they're a lot better equipped for that kind of stuff too, and they have a lot of to-go stuff. So
yeah,
that's always what I consider kind of, if I need fast food, is just to find a Publix or a grocery store with a pretty robust food preparation.
Well, like today, I had
you can get a salad, pretty quick and ready to go, or a veggie Publix sub is always going to be way better than
veggie Publix sub.
Any drive-through nonsense. Yeah,
that's a good idea. I almost forgot that.
Yeah, there's Publixes everywhere.
Yeah,
and I had
they'll take care of you.
I had a Publix salad today for lunch, so I'm conscious of it. I know that and it's also part of the meat and the hormones that you eat that changes your mood. It can drop your mood. It can pick your mood. It can make you irritable. All that stuff. And maybe
I know when we started the show, you were doing so well with tracking everything, and you were not eating much meat at all, or if any at that time. I think you'd pretty much sworn off it, and you were feeling really, really well. So.
Yeah, I know. And then I got lazy. Or actually,
you get busy. You get busy, and you had a lot of change in your life too. So it's nice that you realize it. But we've been making a lot of like cauliflower pizzas and different things. So make it fun. Don't make it another thing on your to-do list. But there are a lot of interesting things that you can make vegetarian. And there's so much access now to that.
Oh my gosh, I know.
On the web for quick recipes and stuff. For
sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was a vegetarian restaurant in Austin called Mama's that, I mean, everything was absolutely delicious. And they had a whole side of their menu that was absolute vegan. And the other side was vegetarian. And, just incredible food that was great for you, that tasted incredible. And just amazing. But here in Florida, I mean, you got sweet tomatoes, maybe. And
we have a lot down here in Sarasota, but we have like Crop, and we have a lot of vegan restaurants and vegetarian restaurants down here.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they haven't made their way up there yet. But Crop is a really great one. They have great juices and acai bowls and different things. We have Veg Restaurant, which is great down here. So they're out there. Maybe Yelp around your area. Maybe
you're right.
Where there?
Yeah. There's one up in Palm Harbor called Consciousness Blossoms, which is very good. It's very good.
I can smell the patchouli from here.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And it's great. But also too, we'll get back on our topic here of stopping yelling. And the first half, I reviewed some like parental things, the parents that yell at their kids. It's to me, it's just spine chilling when I hear it sometimes.
I had something to add, if I might, since we
Sure.
have Beth on the phone. Remember the big movement that they had where they encouraged people to get in circles and yell to release tension?
Yeah.
What about that? What about the benefits of yelling?
Oh, yeah, I think there's huge benefits to it. In fact, in my situation growing up, had people been expressing their emotions more in a healthy way, probably would have been better for everybody. But yeah, I think definitely in a controlled situation like that, or in a therapeutic way, to be able to yell, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing better than getting mad sometimes.
Yeah.
And even down to a cellular level, it really helps to kind of move that stuck energy. And sometimes you don't even realize what you're mad about until you're kind of yelling. I think there's yelling, and then there's berating, and there's going to be different levels to it. It's all about intention and where it's coming from. If you're name calling and screaming at children, of course that's absolutely unnecessary and uncalled for. But a healthy adult relationship, there's times you're going to yell. You just you snap.
Yeah.
When especially in long-term relationships, it happens, and sometimes you need that. You need that that big blowout day.
Yeah, it's like a vent, right? It's like venting.
Gets everything back on track for sure. But if you're yelling out of being ignorant or being mean or being harmful to someone else, I think that's different than just saying I can't take it anymore. Stop it, because you have not been able to get your point across. So as long as there's still communication happening, if it's two adults, I think it's normal, and I think it's healthy.
For all of the listeners too and the viewers, that was Beth actually yelling just a second ago.
Yeah. Oh no, I yell. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah.
And as far as like yelling in a relationship goes, Pam and I have never had anything above a conversation level. We're just neither one of us are yellers. And although I used to be a yeller, I'm a reformed yeller. And but in that, and I've had some relationships in the past that were pretty confrontational and included yelling, and I'm not in them anymore. The
best advice is to avoid relationships with a fuck up.
Yeah, sure.
Keep the yelling down completely.
Oh yeah, I used to get yelled at. I remember one time I had a ashtray winged at me at fast pitch speed.
And what was your reply to that?
Yeah. I think I said after the ashtray hit, it was a glass ashtray.
Wow.
And it would have scarred me or whatever.
Yeah.
It would whack me pretty good, but I missed it. Or it missed me. And I literally said after it hit the wall and broke, I went, things are about to change. And I left the house. And
That's bad.
yeah, and because I can't go tit for tat on that stuff. There's just, I won't square up with you. For one, like I mentioned in the first half, my dad used to verbally abuse me, and like I said, he even said stuff to me when I was a teenager that still sticks with me today. I remember I've always had, my sinuses have always been tough. I mean, I've had deviated septum. I've had operations. I've had, my adenoids out, all that stuff. But my sinuses are hard. They've just been part of my, the one thing I can complain about is my sinuses. And
Gosh, all that without the years of fun cocaine abuse.
I know. It was such a short
Hardly seems
season.
worth it.
It was such a short season. And but from my dad, I learned scathing cut down abilities, and I mean, I could really, really take somebody apart if I was mad at them. And I did it a couple times in my life, and I got to tell you, it damaged everybody that it happened to. And I mean, literally, there's still, there's one guy in particular. I mean, I ripped him a new asshole one night, and
I'm fine.
That sounded bad.
Don't kid yourself.
But
Thank God, Chris.
Chris is recovering.
I'm fine.
yeah, and still, I mean, we're still kind of friends. We're maybe acquaintance plus, but not much more than that because of that night. I mean, he looks at me like, ugh, that dragon under there.
Yeah, nothing like throwing your buddy a grenade.
Ay. And I felt I felt so bad about it. I've apologized like 3 different occasions, and and I just stuff you can't take back, stuff that you can't unsay, and a lot of
that man is Bill Murray. No.
and a lot of that stuff, it starts out with some yelling. And people are, they got you get their dander up, then it turns into a competition, and and then if you're in the mindset or I'm going to win this, that's when it really gets ugly.
Well, some advice might be like if somebody starts yelling at you, you might ask, "Well, who do you think you are, Adam Sandler?"
Yeah. Well, that's
a lot of times when people start yelling, you're not even sure you're mad. If you're not in touch with your anger, if you're not in touch with your emotions, sometimes you find yourself yelling like that or screaming at someone, or in a heated kind of thing, and it's there's almost that out of body experience where you go, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Right.
But it's, it's a way for, your subconscious is going to try to find a way to let it out. So if it finds you in a circumstance, and you yelling at that guy probably had absolutely at the end of the day, and it didn't have anything to do with him.
No.
It was really, a way for you to kind of process all your stuff probably from your dad. And so it's, unfortunately, there's victims in that sometimes, but sometimes we need to have those kind of bottom moments where we go, "Wow, that was really horrible," to kind of start to realize, okay, I've got some healing to do here.
Yes,
and it's unfortunate that others end up kind of being in that path. Although I would argue that that's probably cathartic for them in some way as well.
I was just going to say, I have walked away from a couple situations like that going, that was fun. So I must be really broken. Must be a broken person.
That's why you're a comedian.
I guess. I don't take, you know what, though, on the back to the foreground agreements, I don't take things, I try not to take too many things personally.
Yes.
So when people yell at me, I'm like, okay, get it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, words are words. And most people, when they're yelling and saying, unless they're really, really close to you, they don't really know who you are. You know what I mean? Like I have people come in, I'm like, you don't know who I am. That's coming from a place of ignorance. And not that you're stupid, that you don't know about me.
Right. And and they either haven't had the experience or they just don't know.
Right.
And I just wanted to say, it's a little off topic, but on the real sunny side of the street, last weekend, one of our fellow comedians, Jerry Costello, got married.
Was that nice? How was the show?
Oh my gosh. Well,
I love Jerry.
Thursday night. Yeah, Jerry's the berries.
He's a nice boy.
He's such a nice guy. And I tell you what, he had all these people fly down from Michigan and various California, and people that he had worked with in the past that hadn't seen him in years, but they flew in for his wedding.
That's great.
And a really, really lovely group of people. Judy, his wife, is a lovely gal, and I wish them 1,000 years of happiness. After that, you can take off, Jerry. But it was a really pretty wedding. It was at the Trade Winds down on St. Pete Beach, and right there on the pool deck. And there was a sunset going on in the background, and I got to do the ceremony. I got to be Preacher Lou. and it was beautiful, and everybody was happy, and it was all good, and
No yelling.
no yelling. But I consequently heard reports of yelling.
What?
After
When
a
the
lot of liquor had been
I was just going to
confused,
say when the
consumed.
alcohol started flowing.
Alcohol
Makes
will
people
induce yelling.
Yep.
Yeah, it also ceases your ability to hear and listen.
You're in full bias mode.
Yes, I'm just running on fumes at this point. Well, Beth, if somebody's trying to, I know you work with people with anger issues, and
Oh yeah.
is there a simple little something you can do? Like if you find yourself yelling at your kids or your coworkers, is there something you can do to help curb that? Is there a no yelling 101 or a slow down your yelling process? What would you tell somebody that wants to get over it?
Well, I think, just like anything, it's just taking a minute to kind of admit, hey, I got an issue here, right? I've got a little bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
No one, I think it's important to remember, no one gives you your emotions.
Right.
And that's a big statement to kind of swallow because, for most of your life, you walk around going, this guy made me feel that way, or this happened and it made me feel this way, or that person did this and it made me feel this way. But the truth is you felt all of those ways because of your own stuff. Because
Yes.
it's yours. So if you're getting triggered, if you're getting, if you're yelling at your kids, you're yelling at your wife, if relationships are strained, it's going to be pretty evident. People just don't want to be around you pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think just admitting, hey, I've got an issue here, and start wherever makes sense for you. So even just in breathing, or it's going to be different for everyone. So it would be hard to say, here's a quick 101 for that, because everybody's anger is going to be stemming from their own stuff. So there's some processing that needs done.
Yes, absolutely.
There's something that you need to work on. But the best advice that I could give someone is to just breathe in those moments and start to, set the intention to not yell anymore, and seek help, seek professional help, read self-help books. Just start. It's going to be, it's going to be a journey to get to the bottom of it. But if you're tired of it, if you're tired of walking around, with a scowl on your face, then, you've got to start to find ways to make that change. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. Change is not easy. It's not it's not an event. You can't go, okay, I'm not going to be that way anymore. Change is a process. And so, whatever makes sense for you to get there, whether it's counseling or groups or, just a buddy, but getting some perspective shift for yourself is going to be very, very helpful. So, just breathing to start with and get a little bit of space between you and your reaction.
It's really amazing how simple that is, but we forget to breathe. We really, really forget to breathe. You wind up with a shallow breath, and then you hold it, and then your brain's not getting the right amount of oxygen. A couple of weeks ago, I had a situation where, I could have got angry, but I literally just took a second or two, walked outside, took some good deep breaths, and it went away. It went away. I came back, kind of new and refreshed, and I was able to take that minute and remove myself from the situation, and then classify it in my brain as to how I should respond to it. And I had a very, very light response, and that was all it needed. That was all it needed. I did not need to make a big deal out of that situation. And and I'm grateful for these pieces of wisdom. And Beth, we appreciate what you do for the Loutopia show every week. You impart your your professional opinion, and I know you're helping people. I don't know how many times these shows get listened to. I don't know their avenues. I don't know where they wind up. But I can tell you that over the last couple of years, you've really, really given us a lot of beautiful, beautiful stuff and good tools that for people that are trying to get better and trying to find their balance. It's just finding that good friend, and you're right here for us, and and everybody else that gets to hear it for free. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and if one person finds a little extra light in their life, gets a little help, feels a little less pain in the world, then that's all I ever wanted. And
Amen.
I think that's all any of us want on this show. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. And Michael,
and maybe a CBS radio contract.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go work for the All-Seeing Eye. I don't think that's gonna.
Oh, okay, no, okay.
But Michael, the same with you. I mean, the depth of your studies and things you know about the Tao and all the religions of the world. I mean, it's and your CE5 influences. You really got a great place in the sun, man. You really, your opinion is weighty and good.
Thank you.
And and Chris, you are one of the most.
I don't belong here.
You're one of the most genuine dudes I've ever met in my life.
You own the studio, dude. I mean, you're the glue that holds this group together.
I guess.
But you always got a great neutral or swaying opinion, and always fun to hear.
I love his logic. He's so logical, and he always brings everyone down to earth.
I try to be fair.
Yeah,
I love that about you.
I'm the guy. Well, it's
like Fox
it's a
News.
curse. It's a curse. I gotta say.
You're fair.
I would like to jump on one side and be like, I'm over here, and that's it. But I can't do that because I go, I'm over here. What's that over there? Well, that makes sense. I gotta say that's a pretty good point you're making.
Yeah,
so, it messes me up. But that's what I do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of another Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. Michael Berber. You're my favorite kind of carpet.
If you were saying burger, admit it.
Michael Berger.
You're getting hungry. It's okay.
Yeah. Michael Merberg at disabilityattorney.net. So if you need help with your disability claims, he's your guy. And he puts his heart and soul into all that stuff. Chris, where are you playing this week?
Thursday night, I'll be at the Tampa Improv headlining.
Very nice.
Yep, come on out. And then Friday night, I will be at the High Octane Saloon in Homosassa.
Ah.
Yay.
Damn, boy.
Yeehaw.
I like it there.
Yeah, that's like two polar opposite gigs.
So
Yeah, the Improv on Thursday is this beautiful, well-groomed comedy room.
Right.
And the High Octane Saloon,
It's a chaos.
they have to move the mechanical bull so you can use the stage.
Yeah, I got to bring a bullwhip when I do that show.
It's tough.
I will be yelling.
It's
at
a
that
giant joust.
There's yelling in there. I
Yeah.
bet there's been yelling in there.
Well, you have to hear over the airboats.
Oh. And Beth, thank you so much. What's the special this month at the Ohm Shop?
Oh well, we've got some new treatments. So we've got some new massages that we're offering, and new energy treatments, and one-on-one sound healing now. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. And like I was saying to you before, Armor Tech just bought a store down in Sarasota. So I might be seeing you guys more than you know. So, yay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. We have well over 100, maybe 140, we got an ass load of these things. The Loutopia podcast. And you know what? They're all pretty damn good. Feel free to go back into the archives, go to Loutopia. But I think the most archived is my buddy Mike Peter over there at the IRN Broadcast Network. Man, I really think he could find almost any of our old shows. And damn it, we're going to need him one of these days because I don't know why.
Yeah, and you can always listen live. He simulcasts the show live on our end, irnbroadcast.com.
Yes. And also Saturday, I'll be on the Grease Gurus with Tim Del Toro. And maybe even Bobby Whispers will be back. He's had throat surgery the last few weeks and hasn't been able to talk. So, which is, it's always knowing what not to say.
Ain't gonna yell, that's for sure.
He was a yeller. Well, ladies and gentlemen, stop yelling at your children. Learning the better way to communicate with them. Stop yelling altogether. Unless it's like snake, then it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Please like us. Please subscribe. Tell your friends.
Where would they like and subscribe? What's the name of this thing?
On the YouTube.
On the YouTube for Lou Angel Wolf.
You go to YouTube
/Lou
Angel Wolf.
Yep. Okay.
And all the shows will show up.
Yep.
Okay.
They're all there.
You hit subscribe and you like
you
the
like
ones
it.
you like.
When you
Subscribe to the
it,
channel.
Okay.
Like the video.
And when you subscribe, it'll pop up and let you know every time a new show comes up.
Yeah, you get free candy.
Yeah, see, like for old yellers like me, we need to know that stuff.
Oh.
We can't find this place.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, then I should probably explain that better every week. See, I just learned something. Ladies and gentlemen, be well, be blessed, be quiet.